since we've finished our table talk here, let's go back to the scene of what has occurred. Oh, do we not have the flower map anymore? All right. Well, we'll just yeah, sorry, because I was working with Doc on the back end here to get things rearranged. It looks like some of the maps might have gotten moved around. That is fine. We will continue on. We have this nice, beautiful view of Mesomasca, and we'll just pick up here. Once I can... How do I put this away? Oh, there we go, the blue tab. Haha! There we go, I'm learning.
This is
So,
the pretty scene for the very grim scene going
on. So here we are. All of you, you can imagine you are in a field of flowers that it just continues over gentle rolling hills. There are trees and brush, and of course an occasional pond, which is, that was a part of what was going on here as well. And Celine, you have just closed the eyes of Raphael the Paladin. And would you like to say something? Would you like to invoke some kind of thought or spiritualism?
Yes. After Celine has gotten to her knees and closed his eyes, she'll stand again. She will move over, so she is basically kneeling over his body on both knees, and she will begin to pray and perform the last rites on this body.
Celine, might I make a request? Describe this last rites. What is the last rites of Vecna like? Put us there, if you don't mind.
For we just, because Vecna is very evil and doesn't have last rites. But for we just, she clasps her hands together and she begins praying. She goes, "Mighty Ouijas, keeper of secrets, guardian of the gate of death, I beseech you to take into your hands this soul removed from the mortal plane far too soon, to guide him through the astral plane to his final resting place, wherever that may be." Because I have no idea what his alignment was. Take him, knowing that he was taken from us far too soon, and take him knowing that I, as your faithful servant, will allow him his final rest with no disturbance of the undead. And with that, she'll stand.
All right.
Very nice speech. I'd like to talk to adorable animals and call squirrels and field mice around to participate as observers of the ceremony.
All right. So, Celine, as you're giving this speech and you're entreating Ouijas to ferry Raphael's soul to wherever it belongs, you see all kinds of little field mice and other critters. I don't know if Fluffy Sheep considers things like grasshoppers or, I guess, butterflies. Maybe ones that don't want to eat you. But these little critters start kind of crawling out from the grasses and the flowers, and they gather around as you're giving this eulogy.
I think that is rather fitting, actually, and I will thank Brett for her thoughtfulness.
Welcome.
Is Jade wishing to add words or actions or sentiment at all?
I think Jade is still in disbelief as to what has transpired. For everyone else, they seem all too forgiving. Jade's the one who plunged the knife into his heart. Jade's the one whose blood is cold. Now feeling the Paladin's life upon her hands, she still hasn't washed it off. Sometimes she just stares at it. Through beautiful eulogy and beginning of the burial, she just stares at her hands, stained.
All right. Bright had a bright idea in order to bury Raphael here, or did you want to carry him back to the city?
I'd like to bury him here. I'm gonna, if it's okay with the others, take 10 minutes and conjure up Betty and have Betty start helping dig the grave, and then I'll talk to Jade and help her get through this.
All right. You begin the process. You summon Betty, your invisible servant. Is that? Yeah.
Yes.
Betty, the invisible servant, does appear. Well, as much as Betty can appear, and you all see that the flowers in the earth begin being displaced, one scoop at a time, by this unseen servant. Bright, you are gonna go and approach Jade, and it sounds like you two are gonna have a little bit of a conversation. Celine, are you wishing to do anything in particular? Do you want to join in with Bright and Jade? Are you wanting to help dig the grave? Are you gonna go for a walk and try and make sense of things? What would you like to do?
I will probably go over and join in with Bright and Jade, as Celine has some words of her own that she wishes to share with Jade.
Okay. Then go ahead and let's have this brief conversation, and with Coffee Cat, you will be brought on board soon. So be ready, and I will introduce you at an appropriate time. But if the three of you are going to be talking while Betty is doing the digging, then go ahead and let's have this development.
Jade, I know that, and it's not the first time that something like this has happened. And I saw that something happened when you killed Raphael, even though you didn't mean it. It seems like I could sense some magic power, and so I'm not sure. Maybe your hand was guided by a higher power, and maybe not an entirely good higher power, even compared to Celine. But I don't think this was entirely your fault, and I know that you didn't mean it, and you wouldn't have done it on purpose. I just want you to know that. And I'll hold her hand.
Aw.
Jade feels her hand being held, the blood of Raphael still slick upon it, so a very interesting contrast between this pink-haired, short creature who seems to bring a light all onto her own, and this horrid woman who seems not only disheveled but internally broken. And Jade looks at this merging of two complete opposites in blood of friend. And she can't help but try and push a smile. And she looks towards the priestess and then back to Bright. You say these things, but this is what would have happened, right? This is how it had to be. This is how it had to be. There's no preventing this.
I know.
His time.
I know.
His time.
And I can't change what happened, but I can try to help as much as I can, and even though it's only on the surface, I hope that you'll appreciate the symbolism. And I'll prestidigitate away the blood on her hands.
Oh, all right.
Not technically an object.
That's fine.
I'm just gonna roll with it if that's what you want to do. Like she looks at it, and the hand is covered in blood. And suddenly, the blood vanishes. Almost leaving. I imagine they're almost pristine. This is the cleanest Jade's hands have been since you've known her. And she just looks in absolute awe and shock, and then a moment of sadness when she does so. She looks to Bright, and with a silent nod. Unspoken thank you, for as much as you could probably read the woman, though she does look to Celine, the one who spoke those pretty words, and wonders. Tell me, oh, mistress of death, tell me, how much would you care if the blood was on your hands? Is this how it ends up going? Is this how it ends up making it all come true? I'm sorry. No, don't ask.
It is fine, Jade. Unfortunately, sometimes this is the nature of the fickle being that is life. Sometimes this is the way that things turn out. And there is no absolution, for there is no sin committed. It is simply the nature of things.
Sin, right. As if the nature of sin was ever the thing that weighed. No, he is buried. The body will be devoured along with the rest of him. That's the unfortunate part. Just oiling the bone bearings and keeping things moving. Another twisting, toiling soul living to be consumed. To be consumed!
Oh, nobody's consuming. Nobody's consuming. Do you need a snack? I might have some of my sandwich left over.
No,
Yes.
I am aware of what she speaks, and whilst his skin and flesh and bone may return to the earth, his soul rests in a better place, a place far beyond here, a place that, frankly, I could never fathom, and I would say that none of us could. None of us could ever fathom the place that he has gone to. But
Jade looks to you, Celine, and I don't know how you'd approach this, but try and imagine somebody who looks at you as though they want to answer that very question, but are doing their best to keep their mouth shut.
okay, and she Celine has noticed this, and she does take it to heed internally, but she doesn't make any outward reaction of acknowledging that Jade has made that kind of reaction, but she does take that to mind.
I don't notice anything.
Yeah, I think you have to console one of the squirrels right now too, not just Jade. So
it's like he is in what we would call a better place, a much better place than I would even dare say we are now. And I am sure right now, as we are speaking, his soul, as it glides through the astral plane towards his final resting place, is looking down on us and, I don't know, if not smiling, then doing what Raphael does.
as you all then are having this bit of a powwow, maybe a picnic. I mean, Bright's kind of made it into a bit of a picnic, if only for comfort food and consolation. So Coffee Cat, this is where we are. This is where we're going to start introducing your character. This was actually a pretty good suggestion as a way to do it. You are walking the road outside of. You're walking the road outside of town. You're on whatever's taking you through this the flower field, right? Inspiration. You just want a constitutional and get some exercise. You want to enjoy the beauty, experiment with the weird magical properties of the flowers. Whatever it is, and I'm going to leave that up to you through your character to determine. You are coming out, and you see in the distance, it looks like there's 4 people who are having a picnic. One of them is definitely laying down and taking a nap, and the other 3 are talking, and they're just kind of amongst themselves. Seeing people out here, especially because it can be dangerous, is maybe a little worrisome. I'm going to let your character fill in the blanks in some of these prompts. However, you do see that there's a group that's having a picnic in kind of a dangerous area, and you are welcome to come up and interact as you will.
Okay. So, as just walking through the fields, kind of admiring the beauty of these strange flowers, and just taking in all of the inspiration that the flowers would give me. I definitely would walk up to the group and see, what it is that they're eating, because obviously you have a picnic and you have food, so perhaps that's what's on my mind. Definitely a little bit peckish.
Can you describe then, as you're walking up to them eating?
Okay.
Sorry, one of my cats apparently, I don't know what she got, but oh well, just whatever it is, don't eat it or choke on it, or whatever. I'll get to her anyway. Can you describe who to the rest of who is appearing before them, and how are you presenting yourself?
Okay. So the person walking up to the group, depending on who's paying attention, would see the most garish-looking tiefling that you have ever seen in your life. He is dressed in vibrant colors, mismatched patterns, and has probably the most odd look about him. He's not working very fast. He's walking leisurely. He has horns that kind of go up and then kind of up and backwards in a curve. His tail swishing behind him instead of a spade has more of a lion's fur tuft on the end. He's it's like a very pale blue, almost would describe it as periwinkle color, with navy hair. And he's wearing a purple shirt, a long coat that looks like it's had its sleeves pulled off and then resewn into a vest-like structure, and tight pants and high boots.
So perfect camouflage for a garish field of flowers.
Exactly.
Okay. A character stealthily sneaks up on, no, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, walking up to the group, kind of from a distance, just kind of wave and say, "Hello."
A devil has come to claim his soul. Devil has come.
It's not a devil. It's just a tiefling. They're practically twins. Look. Twins, but... Hi! Hi! You can come say hello if you want. We're having a moment, but we're not going to exclude you.
This will be when Celine will turn around and... Coffee Cat, what your character will see is... Well, I mean, she's pretty beaten up at the moment, so there's this porcelain-skinned, very vivid blue-eyed half-elf with splatters of blood. She looks like... She looks, if you were to take a look, she looks a bit like a war casualty. but there's no war going on yet. And she says, "Greetings and salutations. You have come upon us at a time of mourning."
Morning?
This will be when Celine will half turn and gesture to the unseen servant digging the grave and the soon-to-be interred body of Raphael.
Oh boy. If I'm disturbing something, please just let me know.
It's okay.
You may come and join us.
Friend,
The proceeding.
so you're his friend too, so you can be here now.
The proceedings of death are closed to no one, for everyone will experience it eventually.
That's fair.
Okay, different ways of looking at it.
And
At that point,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just saying, the tiefling just kind of keeps a distance and watches as this goes on.
This tiefling might end up seeing something. You think it's a woman at first. Yes, definitely a woman, but the hair is disheveled. The clothing looks like it's made of pieces more than anything, sutured together in very thick cord, and there is a backpack that is overlaid with what seems like trinkets and baubles and other little collections, maybe the bones of a chicken that are currently hanging along a string along the back. It's almost unsightly. The face is covered in bits of dirt, and you can see old tattoos that maybe just poke out just from under the skin. They seem to move on occasion. Well, she ends up coming up to you wild-eyed as she comes right up to you. No understanding of personal space as she starts to look to you, get really close.
Remember that Jay just took a dip in the pond recently too, so.
Oh yeah, she's still looks like a lot of her stuff is wet, very damp. Maybe the little bits of water are falling out of her hair.
Your one hand is magnificent, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You came here. You came here looking because you will walk the path. You will walk the path. I know you will walk the path. Yeah, you walk the path with devils. You walk the path with devils, and that's how I know. I know that you are going to walk the path. So, devil child, we welcome you. We welcome you to this place of mourning.
And
Don't
you
mind
are.
her. I know you're not really a devil. You just look like one. But that's okay. I look pretty silly too.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that I look much like a devil, do you think?
Yes.
And what was your name?
Jade looks around for a second, and as though she's waiting for somebody else to end up answering. There's no one, again, this close, right? You're speaking to me. They call me. They call me a lot of things, but most of them you wouldn't say in polite company. And so, perhaps Jade, that wretched Jade. Yes, that's the name you'll use. That's the name you'll use for this one.
She's not as wretched as she lets on. My name is Triddle, although nobody calls me that. The other gnomes call me Bright Looker, but they mean it in a very nasty way, so I just call myself Bright, and that's what my friends call me, so you can call me Bright because you can be my friend now.
You
Be
have
friends.
fabulous hair, Bright. I have to say that, someone.
Thank you so much. I do it every morning.
It's fabulous. I love it.
And this is Celine. She doesn't talk much, but when she does, everyone listens. What's your name?
My name is Mordecai Silverleaf.
Oh. Exotic.
I wouldn't say so, but if you think, I mean, do I give off an air like I'm an exotic?
Quite.
I smell almost nobility. Or maybe it's just the fine clothes. Fine, very fine.
Not nobility, just an entertainer.
So, perhaps you shall sing a dirge. Please, please, we would like to hear you perform. And are you capable of that?
Of course. And so Mordecai has a violin case strapped to his back and begins to open it, pulling out his violin and starts to play a very mellow kind of dirge-ish song.
If we're going to be here for an hour, can we call this a short rest and song of rest?
Yes, you may, because it's going to take a while for your unseen servant to be able to dig a grave.
Perfect.
What's going on?
Short resting?
Yeah, you're going to be able to get a short rest in.
Oh well, then, hell yeah! I need some. I need some healing.
Quick
I think we
question:
all
does
do.
anybody else have the issue where their hit point maximum keeps erasing itself?
No, that is strange.
Anybody else have that?
I don't know what causes it, but it might be if you don't have a level defined for your character in the biography section, the little thing in the top right.
That's very
Technically,
odd,
my name
because I do have
technically.
one.
Yeah, no, that's strange. I mean, I only healed up to 15 instead of the 17 I would have normally healed up to. Oh, extra hit points.
Extra hit points.
Because Coffee Cat is a bard and is using Song of Rest. So, if we regain hit points by spending dice, we get an extra d6.
Nice.
Oh! That's very nice.
Very nice, Selene.
So you are playing a bit of a sad violin, but maybe it's just helping people kind of come to terms a little bit better. And, wounds
Song of
may
grief.
heal, but they can still leave scars. So yes, you are actually going to have a couple hours together in the flower field as, Mordecai learns that the dirt that's moving itself is actually moving under the power of someone named Betty. And a grave is dug for the fallen tiefling that is lying very peacefully in the flowers. Well, he would be staring up at the sky, but his eyelids have been closed.
Should we? I don't want to sound. But should we go through his pockets before we bury him?
Well, he won't need it where he's going, and not to sound ungrateful, but I think it would be best if perhaps we should end up giving it to those who are performing the services. It
Agree.
wouldn't feel right taking from him. Cursed coins. Cursed.
That's fair. Celine can take the money. And I think he should be buried with his sword and his armor. Those are the things that he should have
I
them
would
with him.
not have it any other way. A knight is interred with a knight's death. Armor on his body, sword in his arms. And with that, Celine will go through and check him over for valuables and things like that. Just things that are valuable but don't look to have any kind of sentimental meaning. So she won't take anything like a signet ring or anything like that if he has those.
Well, he does have one gold piece.
Penniless paladins.
Yep.
It's because he spent all his gold.
That was the only thing we had in common.
And the only other thing that isn't some kind of armor or shield or weapon is he does seem to have 50 feet of silken rope.
I will take this 50 feet of silken rope.
Okay.
And then I will ask Bright to get Betty to help me gently lower Raphael's body into the grave.
But I'll help. I think Jade should take the head.
Take his head. Take his head. Yes, I can carry it with me.
No.
Only the dagger and walk.
No. I mean,
So it's like she means grab him by the head to lower him into
lower
the
him
grave.
into the grave.
Not cut his head off. As much as Raphael might appreciate that, he might also be rather concerned.
Jade kind of looks to you a little bit confused for a second, then slowly starts to put the bloody knife still back in the sheath, and nods slowly as though she understands, though maybe you should be questioning that as she starts to reach for his head. This is not a kindly grab him by the back of the head and gently going in. She's grabbing him by the scalp and...
Oh no, don't pull out his hair. He's a paladin. He has very nice hair. Here, you can grab his horns. They're like handles.
The other tiefling takes offense to this.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
It's like you're with and how much you paid for the privilege, I suppose. And she does so. She just grabs hold of his horns at that point. No more gentle.
It's like, oh, whatever. And Celine will lower the body into the grave, and she'll position his shield and sword so that the shield is sitting on his chest.
Yeah.
His arms are crossed over the chest, over the shield, and clutching the sword.
Okay.
And then I will sprinkle in the wrong flowers that I picked in the last session. Well, I didn't know when I picked these that this is what I would be using them for, but I knew they'd come in handy. I just didn't realize why. But now I know. So, Mr. Raphael, these are for you, and I hope you remember us by them. And then I'll sprinkle in the flowers.
Mordecai, is there anything in particular, one tiefling to another, some kind of maybe a death ritual, a custom, perhaps a few words in Infernal? Is there anything you as a fellow tiefling would like to do before you see this other one of your kind be buried?
So Mordecai just kind of kneels down next to the grave, looking at the deceased tiefling, and under his breath just kind of mutters something in Infernal. Nothing, like, he just says to him, "I didn't know you, but you seem to have gifted these individuals with your presence. Be at peace."
Okay. Do any of the rest of you speak Infernal, or did that just sound kind of weird to you?
That would have sounded a little bit weird to me. I only speak Abyssal, not Infernal, unfortunately.
Okay, got it.
Aren't Abyssal and Infernal related, though? I mean...
They are somewhat related, but Abyssal's demons and Infernal's devils, and they don't like each other.
I sure don't know it, so...
So I don't know,
sounds like
Celine. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe you got every third word. I mean, it's like being able to speak Spanish, and you're like, well, Italian is also a romantic language. So you might be able to pick up a little, here and there. It is
I think able to get the gist of what they're saying.
Well, yeah, and you can tell that it is the infernal tongue itself. You're getting that it seems to be sentimental, not like damn his soul to the lowest level of hell, where he shall reign in glory. All of a sudden it's like dramatic and then an upswing in some cursed way. It actually does seem to be polite and a bit of a lament and a send off. From your contact buzz with the infernal tongue.
Much like Klingon, there is no word for thank you in
But
yeah.
no, as everyone pays their final respects, Celine will nod to Bright to get Betty to begin filling in the grave, and she speaks in this loud voice, and she's actually not going to be speaking common. She's going to be speaking this in celestial. And she speaks aloud so that if anybody walking by would easily be able to hear her.
Okay.
And she says, in celestial, Raphael, with this final parting, we inter your bones to the earth. Rest in peace. And that's all she says.
Okay. Well, you all at least understood the Raphael portion. The rest of it, I don't know.
Unless Bright knows Celestial.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Just the ordinary languages.
Fair enough.
So, Mordecai, your stroll through Flowerfield has definitely taken an interesting turn. And you have been with them for a couple hours further, as it does take time for this unseen servant to pile the dirt back on top of this Raphael character's grave. Whoever he was, he seemingly meant something to them. You can pick up what you'd like in context. Now, the sun is growing low in the sky, and you all can see that despite losing some of the sunlight as it is setting, this is causing several of the flowers to begin glowing softly.
Once the grave is finally filled in, are there still were the flowers that were moved, were they in a position to be replanted on top?
I don't think Betty is really smart enough to, preserve the flowers. So I'm sure you could find some if you want to transplant them, but they were all kind of churned in with a pile of dirt.
Yeah, I will do that. I will find some just some normal flowers. Not gonna. Just before we go, we'll also harvest the Stara Solaris and its berries, because those are important. But no, Celine plants her we'll find some normal flowers and plant them gently along the top, and she will turn to Bright. She says, I have one final request.
Sir?
I would like you to use your magic to turn these flowers red.
Oh, how long will that last? Just for a minute, I think.
Yeah, I don't think prestidigitation lasts too long.
If it's changing the color of an object, I'll actually have a look at prestidigitation because I have my PHP open.
That's good enough.
It's actually up to 1 hour.
Ah, okay.
Oh, am I not? No, I'm talking. Yeah, I just said an hour.
Yeah, you must have cut out there, but no, it'll last an hour. But Celine will ask you to turn the flowers red. It's like for It's like, for a time, the land will remember his name and the blood that was spilt here. And with that final little bit and a bow, she will move over to begin actually doing what they came out here to do in the first place, which was grab the harvest the Star of Solaris and the berries from the plant that they came out here to harvest near the pond.
Careful, because the petals are poisonous.
Yep. Celine, can you give me a medicine check, please, as you are harvesting these flowers?
Yep.
Berries that are purple.
So yes, you do recall, especially with Bright's shout out, that this is a very delicate flower to handle, and yet you do so expertly. You seemingly walk that line of medicine and poison, life and death, and so you expertly pick the flowers and the berries that have been asked of you. You collect them in the vial or the container that was given to you, and as the last rays of the sun are still beaming up into the sky, you have your sample flowers.
So we have the flowers and the few kinds of berries that we came out here for. She would turn to the to her party members now, and to Mordecai as well, considering Mordecai is also there, and she'll say, "The light grows dim on this field of flowers. We should return to the city."
Okay.
Indeed.
All right. You begin to walk back along the road, and the more the sun sets, the more you see flowers beginning to glow, and sometimes even in on and off patterns. Think almost like Christmas lights. With a couple might even have a little, on a flower itself, it might have an illumination that spins one petal to the next. Now, Jade, that could very eerily resemble a turning gear in some fashion, especially if you come across a patch of the flowers and they're all kind of turning together, and the petals are sensing when another one goes off, and so it kind of creates like little chain reactions of bioluminescence. Various bugs, birds, and other wildlife either settle down, or you're also hearing a couple new noises. Nothing sounds especially dramatic or, doom-like, nor is anything approaching you. It is all ambient. You do return. In fact, I think I should still have this. All right. So you all are back inside of the Tumbled Wench. And there is an old man playing chess with a sailor from the docks. There's a band that's playing some music in the background. The smell of food is filling the air. There's a lot of conversation going on. And when you all return, the night manager says, "Oh, will you be staying with us again for another night? It'll be 1 silver, but your invitation from Captain Willowick is still good here."
Celine will nod, and because of what's happened in the last little bit, she will put down a silver piece for herself, a silver piece for Bright, and a silver piece for Jade.
Thank you.
And be like, for the 3 of us.
Now, Coffee Cat, you can make Mordecai, you can make a history check with that name drop.
Oof.
All right, with an 11, you've heard the name Captain Willowick somewhere. You can't remember where. But I don't know if you heard of it. Obviously, it must be important because why else would you hang on to that knowledge? But you're not placing exactly where it's ringing a bell, but unfortunately that bell's a little distant right now. And he then does ask you, Celine. I hate to I understand that your one friend is convalescing upstairs, but his room and board will need to be handled. And what of actually the well, wait. And he, the night manager looks over to you, Mordecai. Now, you're not the same tiefling that they walked out with. Are you with them?
He is a friend of ours, yes.
It's the same tiefling. Do they all look alike to you? You should be more careful.
Oh, no. I've lived in Mesomasca for far too long. I can discern them. In fact, you know that you've walked amongst them when you can tell which way they're looking. What with no pupils, you gotta look for the veins on the sides.
And the strange thing about Mordecai is he does have pupils.
Oh.
The night manager does a double take. You do have... Well, I'll be... That's...
And they're a striking blue.
Oh, my...
The devil's blood
I haven't
hold
seen
upon his soul yet.
Well, I do know that there are some tieflings who are bearers more of their human history, their human past's heritage. Is that the blood that... Do you have human blood running through your veins more? Or is this... Oh, I shouldn't pry. I'm sorry, but you're such a fascinating person.
No. It's quite all right. I do tend to look a little bit more like my human ancestors, yes.
Oh, I see. Well, if these ladies say that you're a friend of theirs, then Captain Willowick's invitation is good to extend to you, should you need it. And by the way, you've been paying more than 1 silver to stay in town, so this is an excellent discount. I take it then that you'll be occupying the same room as I believe his name was Tazray, correct? Your Silver Dragonborn friend.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
another. There's another?
Yes, we're not
yes,
sure if he's still conscious or not.
He got wounded in a bar fight because he decided to pick a fight with something just a little bit bigger than himself.
We spent most
he
of
is
our
okay.
time
The
almost
knife was
dead.
plenty small enough.
yes, it was. But no,
You lot seem to-
Mordecai,
You lot
you
seem to
you
get
do
in a
know
lot of
that there
trouble.
was a big bar fight in the Tumbled Wench last night.
he got hurt in a bar fight.
Well then, for the simple matter of paying for the room and board for another day, would you be able to put down 1 silver for your friend? I'm sure you could extract it from him later.
I've got my
I will pay for the 2 silver for the other room for Tazray and our new friend here.
Oh, thank you. Your custom is appreciated and your prompt payment. Sometimes, you get people who just try to, they look at you that you're some night manager at a hotel and they treat you like dirt, well, actually, you're paying just a silver, in Electrum to stay here at the Tumbled Wench. Well, mind you, and he's getting all defensive. He likes where he works, and so he starts going into this and that, and he catches himself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, you all look very weary. You've had a bit of a day, in fact. Oh, you've been in the flowers, haven't you?
Yes.
Ah, I can smell it on you. Not saying that you need a bath. I'd argue quite the opposite. And at that point, the serving girl comes over, and apparently there's a table that might potentially be a problem, and that the manager needs to go over and talk. So he excuses himself, and you still have your keys. You're welcome to either sit in the dining room and order something, or go to your rooms. Now, one second here too, and then I'll put it back over to you.
Yep.
We now have Syphonix, you do see that the party has walked back in, and that the night manager is leaving them alone before deciding if they're going to go upstairs or go further into the dining room. Or I don't know, just turn around and go back outside for all I know. But you do see that they're here.
Okay. To take the flowers over to what's his name? Syphilis?
Syphonix.
No, I think that's a common name here in the port, but I...
Wow.
But no, Celine's first thing was that she was going to go over to Syphonix and say that the job is done.
Okay, I'll go with. I want to go there too.
Mordecai's going to quickly grab something to eat.
Okay, so Mordecai's going to sit down, and Jade?
Jade will take her meal up into her room. She best not be with people right now. She has things to do. And as she places the order, she reaches for the dagger on her hip. She can feel the blood still starting to coagulate and stick into the sheath. But it's important. It's very important.
All right. Jade gets an order to go. Mordecai's holding a table for the rest, and then Celine and Bright are going to make their way over to the very charismatic. I think I have a token. How do I drag out a token of what you all look like?
I'm pretty sure if you just, in fact, I actually might even be able to do it.
Journal, you should just be able to drag the journal entry onto the map.
Oh, there we go.
Enough to create a token. And I think you can rescale it too by dragging the corners. There you go.
Okay. So here we have our golden. Was it white hair or golden haired?
White haired.
White haired. Okay, a white gold. White haired. You're playing a game, and it looks like those who you talked about the job earlier are coming over to you. The one sailor looks at it and shakes his head. I don't know how you keep doing it. You're just too good. One day I'll get you. One day. And he gets up and leaves.
Oh, you lot are back. How did the observation go? By the way, where is your other friend?
Jade, she went upstairs. She got blood on her dagger, and she needs to fuss over it.
I was talking about your tiefling friend.
He's over there. Don't you see him? He's having dinner.
So this is when Celine will pipe up, and she goes, "Right."
Oh,
He's referring to Raphael.
he died.
He lies amongst the flowers.
Oh, my condolences.
It was really sad. Nobody saw it coming, and we were all really sad.
Celine will slide over the container which contains the flowers and the berries, and she's like, "No condolences required. It is simply the nature of things."
It seems that way. But here's your payment. Would 100 gold suffice? And maybe another job if you're willing to take. If not, I can pay you in another way.
Another job actually sounds, well, I mean, we have nothing better to do here.
Do you have any jobs that don't involve flowers? Because we're all pretty sick of flowers.
This next one does not consist of flowers, no. And
Well, think about it.
Go ahead.
Sugar, just the 100 gold pieces and the prospect of another job sounds alright enough with me.
Very well. And you see he immediately searches through his pack that's on his side and pulls out a bag and plops it down in front of you. 100 gold exactly. You all can split it how you like.
We want to split it evenly, or what? Do we give Mordecai a share? How do we handle that?
We will decide.
At the end, but sometimes that's the best way to make him feel like he's part of the team, would be to actually make him part of the team. Do we want him to be part of the team?
Well, we do need a replacement for Raphael. I mean, unfortunately, good manpower is very hard to come across these days.
True, and it's tradition to trust new party members all of a sudden, really early, so we don't want to break tradition.
This is a very optimistic gang press.
Very optimistic.
But it explains why Jade is still here.
So I think we should split it evenly and give 25 to everyone.
I think that works. I mean, Tazray is currently laid low in the infirmary, like in upstairs in the bedroom. But I mean, he didn't come out with us to fight, so
I think I meant 20 when I said 25. I only have 16 intelligence. I'd need 18 to do that math properly.
Oh, that's great.
So should we all add 20? 20 GP?
Yeah, 20 GP. 20 will go to Tazray.
Okay.
20 will go to Tazray, and then the rest of us will get 20 GP.
I think I can open up his character sheet here.
Be able to add the gold to his character.
Yeah.
As the creator, you'll have access to everything, so you'll be able to do that.
Okay, it's added. And well, Mordecai, I guess you're sitting there like you're eating your meal, drinking a beverage of your choice, and I guess 20 gold is just put in front of you.
Well, when you're part of the team, you're part of the team. And we want you to be part of the team. So here it goes, and now you're part of the team.
We're conscripting you. Welcome aboard.
I've done nothing to deserve this. What is this for?
This was the funeral, and you helped us from the flowers, and you were too late to save poor Mr. Raphael, but you would have helped if you'd been there on time. I know you would have. So you're part of the team.
You are awfully trusting.
I have.
She is very optimistic
about you.
I know nothing about you, and yet you have a good feeling about me.
My thing, though, I have feelings about people and things, and they're usually always right. They're always right. So, because that'll make me really mad. But until then, I trust you.
Who am I to argue with that?
Okay, so to speak a little bit through Syphonix a little bit, you were promised another job, and he's going to need about a day in order to get some notes together. So if you come back, he's paid you, and he'll give you the gist of the job should you want to take him up on it. But for now, why don't you sleep it off, especially because look, you just lost Raphael, and look, Syphonix will be around.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did he give us the gist for, or does it not matter because we're going to see him in the morning and he'll tell us the real story?
Yeah, he promised you a job. He has something in mind, but speaking a little bit through your character's mouth, Volvo, why don't you all just have a good night's sleep, and we'll discuss the details. We'll discuss the details tomorrow.
Well,
Okay.
tomorrow we also get paid by the captain.
That's
Or
true.
is that?
No,
Yes,
it's day 3.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yep, it'll be day 3.
So, the captain's probably gonna be pretty torn up to find out that Raphael has left this world.
Well, I guess you can draw straws about who's going to deliver the news then.
Person
Yeah,
who's going to be most upset is going to be Oxy, because he really liked Raphael. And Raphael was like a father figure to him. Of course, he already had a father, but maybe he needed 2 fathers, and that's okay. But but he's kind of going through them pretty fast. So maybe he needs a mother figure instead. Celine, would you like to be his mother figure? I think it might be safer.
Celine kind of looks a little shocked, like, I am really not one you should have around children.
Okay, at that moment I think this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for another person who has better maternal instincts than the death cleric. And at that point, this thing, which you recognize as Jade, is currently crawling its way down the stairs. Almost a la The Ring.
Yeah, like Ring or
where's the
Grudge
better
or
option?
something.
Where's the better option? No maternal instinct there. And she seems to be like holding on to this thing. You've seen her with it before. She was scrawling in it earlier on the ship or other things. She just hangs on to this book as she ends up coming back down and walks towards the table and sits with you, then immediately turns to the tiefling. So, have you finally come to the conclusions that we have, that you are coming along?
I'll give it a go.
We conscripted you.
Well, of course, they were already here coming, whether they knew it or not, they already were coming, because they have. That's how these things go.
Mordecai turns to the others. Is she always like this?
Yes. That is not a bad thing.
No.
Get used to it.
Eccentric, but I like eccentric.
And as she does, she starts to look through her notes. You realize that she has to peel the pages apart. Bright, this might explain what ended up happening with the dagger earlier.
Well, Celine is gonna pop the 20 GP of Jade's in front of Jade and be like, "This is your share of the
Blood money.
No.
No, this is your share of the job that we actually went out into the flower fields to do, the harvesting of the flowers. Remember?
Flowers. Yes. That's
Not the blood money.
okay. I will take the flower money then.
just the way you came out with blood money was absolutely hilarious. Oh my god.
She's looking at the tiefling when she says that. In fact, Coffee, you can see my cam, right?
No, actually.
Oh,
So that's too bad.
That was the case, because just for the audience at home, the look would look something like this.
I'm watching on delay on the stream, so
It's okay. Just let it build up for the 10 seconds and then just let it sink in afterwards.
It's working okay on the stream. I don't know why Coffee Cat can't see.
Well, I mean, the webcam connection's in Roll20R peer-to-peer, so...
firewall thing.
I have my firewall set to allow peer-to-peer. I don't get it.
We'll
Yeah,
discuss
no,
it at
it-
another point. In
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, we can discuss that later on.
However, I need to go grab a quick prop because this book is far more appropriate.
Oh no, that's fine. Go ahead and do so. So you, Jade comes back and has something, and you disperse the money. There is the promise of another job on the next day, and one of you, or all of you, or some of you, are going to have to make your way back to Lellywellin's Gamble in order to speak with Captain Willowick. And oh, nice.
Oh boy.
Um,
At least that's not the actual Book of Wild Darkness, because that would be very, very bad for all of us.
Didn't you understand here, Celine? This is the origin story of the Book of Vile Darkness. That's what we're playing.
Oh boy!
So, which of us is Vecna? Vecna?
I think that would be me or you, because you're the wizard.
Thinking I have to be. Okay.
So you have you can make the plans that you would like to make, and evening, or rather your meals will finish. Syphonix will excuse himself to wherever it is that he stays, and slowly the bar crowd just dwindles and dwindles. It must be a weeknight, leaving you all to yourselves in your rooms.
Yeah, I think it's time to go up, go to sleep, and get ready for tomorrow, because someone's gonna have to tell the captain that Raphael has left this earth, and we also need to go back to Syphonix and get that second job.
Celine, the Mordecai walks up to you and just kind of like places the silver in your hands, like, you don't have to front for me.
Celine would wave it off. It's like, consider it a investment.
You've already given me 20 gold. What's 1 silver?
She just shrugs and she'll take the silver. Why not?
Wouldn't the Priestess of Death require 2 for the pairing, or are we planning on placing that on someone who has an eye patch?
There is no more death threats going on right now. That's for somebody else.
Doesn't your friend have his own money?
Well, we buried him, so no.
No, I meant the Dragonborn friend that you mentioned.
While he does,
He's already silver, so it only takes 1 coin.
We'll just
He-
place a scale on each eyelid. He has an
he
eyelid, yes?
is.
He has eyelids. Does he have
I believe he has eyelids.
This. Excuse me, I have to go investigate.
No, do I know through my medicine knowledge if dragonborns have eyelids or not?
Yeah, they do. In fact, they I think they even have 2 sets. They have the normal horizontal kind, but then they also have that vertically closing like that second layer, kind of the windshield wiper, not just the blast shutters.
Yeah, they got the double. Yeah, it's like,
Membrane.
Yeah.
For how
Yeah,
long, we're not sure at this rate.
Celine will actually call after Jade. Jade, he does have eyelids. You don't have to go in there. He probably wants to sleep. Remember, he got stabbed in the chest only a day ago.
Yeah, but unlike this one, he survived. And
Oh my god!
but you need them. You need them for spell components.
No, I don't need his eyelids.
I never said you
His,
did.
his eye-
I need his eyelids.
Please don't harvest his eyelids.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Gabe's
I mean,
gonna leave you with that thought as she goes to maybe her room, maybe not.
Celine's gonna go and check on Tazray.
Leaving this to GM.
All right. What we'll do is I will have a fade to black here. And this is a very good moment for that, where Jade goes off, and Celine is just sort of, contemplating, whoa, hang on, all right, I'm going to go up too. Kind of leaving, I guess, Bright and Mordecai across the table from each other, just kind of blinking at each other and like, oh. Tazray is still alive, though he is in a bit better state. He does feel like he can get up and go out tomorrow if you need him to do so, or even if you don't need him to do so. It sounds like he really wants to get up and out. You will have I'm sorry, Jade, you will not be able to harvest gold dragonborn eyelids, at least not from Tazray. Not on this night, anyway.
True. He's silver. So
He's silver, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't harvest gold dragonborn eyelids from him at all.
Unless we use prestidigitation. Let me get Bright.
Oh my god!
Morning comes, and sure enough, there is a nice hot soup for you. A nice, at least as in the 3rd edition player's handbook, it was bread, hunk of, meat, chunk of, or I think cheese might have also been a cheese, chunk of as well. Though you are treated, to a standard breakfast. This one does not come courtesy of the head chef, who has... you have not seen him again. None of you were actively looking for him, but he hasn't come out. He hasn't made himself known subtly or overtly, and he doesn't seem to be checking up actively on Raphael's presence. It is morning of the 3rd day. Presumably the docks have already been busy since even before the sun came up over the horizon, just with ships coming and going and fishing vessels and whatnot. So it is now up to you to go together or to split up. What would you like to do?
Jade has to quickly end up going to the person they gave the flowers. After all, she did end up saying that she wanted some of that flower healing to aid the old soldier. He must make the road. He must make the road.
You guys go on down. I have some things I need to study before we can go on out, so you go take care of the things you need to take care of, and I'll be here in the room.
And I want to acknowledge something in the chat, if it's okay. With Jade on their team, I don't see how everyone isn't like, okay, I'm going to sleep. Locks doors, boards up doors, casts alarm, lays down the bulb bearings, grabs a Bible and some holy water. And my first response we need to acknowledge is, how do you know they all aren't? With Jade, her locks are on the outside of the door.
So Jade, are you going to the quarantine area, or where were you going?
Well, first she needs to end up making contact with the individual who's asking for these berries. They said they're medicinal purposes. She earlier made claims that she did want some of that medicine specifically to end up bringing to the old soldier, and to aid and perhaps give him enough life to be able to finish his travel.
Okay.
Yes.
Downstairs in the tavern as usual. Playing.
I like that. The X on Raphael. That's a nice touch.
Thank you.
We left him in Flowerfield.
Yep.
Rip.
All right, so
dead.
Jade, this person must be a regular, and despite the early-ish hours of the morning, he is dressed in his burgundy and gold. He has the white flowing hair still. It's always excellent, always impeccable. Very, very beautiful person.
Jade starts to slowly walk up to him, just slowly keeping her head down, clutching on to her book as she ends up walking up to this individual. You're the one with the medicine. Yes, that's what the flowers were. That's what the berries were. Yes.
Oh, good morning, Jade. The berries that you picked yesterday. Yes. Let me see here. You said you wanted some medicine for your friend so he would make the travels, correct?
Yes. I need them now. Must not delay. Must not delay.
And you see he pulls out a flask. It's half full. The liquid inside is it's a vibrant shimmering purple with different blue specks swirling throughout the flask. And he says, yes, I did as much research as I could last night, and it seems like this potion, I guess you could say, it's still quite potent, but it should do the trick for your friend. It will heal any aches and pains he has, and the thing I am not quite sure of is the aging factor. I know it will de-age him some, but I don't know how much.
So long as his heart still beats, it's okay. He doesn't need his arms or his legs or his eyes or his tongue. Just so long as his heart beats, he will make the journey. That's the important thing.
He puts his hands up and says, okay. He shouldn't lose any limbs. He should just get a little bit younger from my research.
Younger.
He should be perfectly fine.
Yes, because he skipped the key on the cog. He skipped it. Yes. Jade reaches for this and she grabs hold of this vial and looks at it. This magnificent vial. It appears almost as though he's captured the sky itself in glass. How beautiful. She starts to creep back a bit and nods her head. Thank you. No, stop. Thank you.
No problem. If you all would like to have that second job, I am willing to give it to you all at any time.
Second job. Yes.
We will pick up this job. We have some other things that we need to do today, but we will pick up this job and get to this job as soon as possible.
Very well. Take your time. I will be here in the tavern for most of the day.
It said it would probably be better for us to pick it up now because of the simple fact that we have no idea what's going to happen when we go back to the Lullyball and the Gamble.
You sure?
Yeah. No, it's probably a good idea to do that.
Oh.
So
Well-
we'll grab the job from you now.
Okay. Well, the task is similar to the previous one. This time though, you would need to go to one of the forests at the base of the Brown Mountains. I need the area to be surveyed and a couple of samples taken this time as well. This area, though, is a little bit different than the flower fields. The forest seems more alive than usual.
As in more dangerous.
In a way, you can say that.
Oh, joy.
But at the center of the forest, it's quite deep in there, is a particular tree that I need the sap from. The tree itself is not hard to miss when you're inside the forest, but very hard when you're out the outside looking in. The particular leaves of this said tree is kind of pinkish, like your friend's hair there.
I'm not actually here, but yeah.
It's so memorable that he could just mention it and immediately to everyone's mind.
Get out of my head!
It's like, no, it's like, Celine's a little bit like, no, Jade, he's not in your head. It's that bright hair is very, very, very memorable.
She is the only person with pink hair I have seen in quite some time, actually. The second sample I will need is around the roots of the tree itself. You see, a while back there was a crystal cluster that, for some reason, started growing into the tree itself. The crystal itself is kind of like the potion I gave your friend here, and I motion my hand towards Jade. The crystal itself is a very darkish purple color with different specks of blues and yellows. It's kind of like the night sky. If you do get a sample of this crystal, be very careful with the tree. It's timid to some people, but to others, not so quite.
I never thought I'd have something in common with the tree before. So, find the leaves, find the crystals, harvest the crystals, bring them back. Correct?
Correct. There is one thing I almost forgot to mention. Be careful and watch the skies. There is a flying creature I am not too familiar with. It can blend in to the trees very well.
You mean like bees? Like the ones beforehand? Like the ones that flew and stung, bit and gnash?
Well, no, this is actually larger than the bees. If you bring back its talons, I will give you something extra. The beast is not of importance, though.
I will keep this in mind.
That is the job. The particular place will be by the town known as Green Shield. I still have some business to conduct around here, but I will arrive there within 2 weeks to collect the samples.
Well then, my friends, why don't we go ahead and stop by the Lollywoman's Gamble to get that, get our affairs in order, and then leave town towards Greenshield.
I wish you all luck on your journey, and to you, Jade, I hope your friend is well.
Thank you.
And that'll be where we'll be headed, is towards it'd be Northport where the ship would be.
Okay. Are all of you going to the port district or to Northport? Bright, are you staying behind, or Mordecai?
I'm following suit. I've got nothing better to do.
Okay.
Actually staying behind, but someone's going to have to come get me because I'm still up in the room studying spells.
I will let Bright know where we're going before we leave.
I was just finishing up anyway. I'll come with you.
Okay.
Jade has to go to quarantine. She must make haste.
Check on Boxy too before we go out of town. Because it sounds like
his second father is dead.
we have 2 weeks, so there's not really a big hurry. So why don't maybe we can check on them both at once? Are they are they in the same part of town?
Yes. Because he's being held by the port authority until a member of his family can come and claim him or arrange transportation. And in a different part of the district, you have the quarantine area, and that is where Geroff Avalanche is being held under observation.
Why don't we combine our errands?
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right. Dun, dun, dun. Let's move you all over to Northport.
So are we actually checking out of the Tumbled Wench, or are we just taking errands for today?
This is up to you. If you want to immediately head south towards Greenshield, that's gonna take about a week or so to. Well, no, I'm sorry. It'll take about 3 or 4 days, depending on how quickly you can travel, to reach Greenshield. So you can stay a little bit longer, or you can leave.
I think we should plan on spending the night tonight, and then we can leave in the morning. We'll get a fresh start, and we won't be heading out when the sun is almost ready to set.
That is very true. We should do that. We shall stay in town tonight and then head out first light tomorrow morning.
All right. So, making your way through, you arrive at Northport, and it is just as busy as really any other day. There's not really a holiday here. The glass-winged birds, the ones that have these transparent feathers that channel the sky and the light through them so that they almost appear invisible, are gliding and cawing and eating, which is a little disturbing because you can, depending on what they've eaten, you can still see it inside of them. There is cargo being loaded and unloaded, and it is here that Jade is going to split off and go to quarantine, and then we have Celine is going to go to the ship to talk to Captain Willowick, and Bright is doing what?
Bright is going to to get to talk to Boxy at the Port Authority.
Okay, so you're going to go talk to the Port Authority. All right. Let's see. Let's do, we'll go left to right. So we have Jade. You reach the quarantine, and the man behind the desk, well, he recognizes you. You're a very notable figure. Oh, it's you again. You've come to see the... Oh, snap.
In remembrance of the deceased, long may he rest until an evil necromancer turns him into an undead oathbreaker.
In one hand, the book in the other. She ends up holding on very, very tightly the book that she holds in her possession, looking at him frantically, like this is an absolute mandate.
Sorry, I'd update the... Super Colliders became quite an influential fickle god here, with perhaps a bit of an interesting prophecy to come. All right, so you have arrived. You have your book, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, yes." In fact, he's. I didn't think that he'd live another night, but this man is tough. If you wish to go back and see him, you certainly may.
Take me to him. Take me.
Oh, yes. Oh, ma'am, please, calm down. I'll take you. He hasn't died yet, and I don't think he'll die in the next 5 minutes. One moment, there's a procedure to all things. I'm sure you know. You carry a book. You're literate.
She looks at this nurse, for lack of a better term, like as if that's a grave assumption.
He finishes
I do
making.
Not read. They speak to me.
They
speak.
Okay. Yes, they do. Quickly finishes penning whatever, closes the book. All right, now please come with me, and we'll take you to Mr. Avalanche's room. And you are you're going down the hallway. It's fairly well lit. It's not like an old creepy like hospital or insane asylum. If nothing else, the sea air is coming through here in order to help like any disease like get blown out of the place. You are hearing the moans of some people who are in pain. There's probably someone who's praying to the porcelain god, if you get my drift. And then you come to a room that you remember, and the ward opens the door, and sure enough, there's Geroff Avalanche, and he's quasi sitting up in bed. He's kind of like propped. His shoulders and his upper back are propped against the wall, and he looks up in the general direction of the door that opened. Oh, it's you, isn't it? Yes, I can smell you. Come in.
Yeah, so she closes the door and starts to slink over to the bedside. She places a hand close enough to the bed and starts to speak to him gently. I brought you something, old man. An old warrior who still has some fight. I want you to drink and taste of life.
Oh, what did you bring? I am a bit parched.
She uncorks it and places in his hand, guiding his hands to hope not to make him spill a single drop.
This smell. I don't know if it's this or you. It smells of blood and flowers.
I can most assuredly say that what that is of youth and vitality. Sacrifices have to be made. They have to be in order to make sure everyone finds purchase. And I told you, old man, your journey does not end here.
Yes. And he tilts up and he starts drinking a little bit. Maybe it's aggravating to you, Jade. Like he'll take a sip and then he'll start to speak as if he's like casually drinking tea and having a conversation. I wanted to discuss that with you. You see, oh, oh, my voice is, oh, that really is coating the throat very well.
Drink.
Oh, yes, of course. And he takes another sip. He hasn't finished it, but he takes a couple sips politely. So, yes, about the nature of what I wanted to discuss. You see that I have put my dues in. I've put my dues in, actually, more as a mason than anything else. I'm from the town of Browbeat, where the major mining town that supplies a lot of worked brick and stone and other products. And
yes,
oh, go ahead.
Yes. 60 miles long trip, stone quarry, and the tattoos tell the tale upon your body. It's something we share. In fact, the tattoos of those involved in the Mesomascan Navy, if I recall, were in fact very, very tough. well, what's the expression? Tough as nails, or hammers, or anvils.
He actually kind of leans forward a bit, and he's squinting his eyes, even though you know that they're kind of milky and he's blind. If I didn't know better, I could swear, very faintly, I could almost see marks upon you, or at least what I imagine you to have as far as a form. Ah,
Drink.
Interesting that.
Drink.
Sip.
Maybe you'll see. Maybe. But you might like what you see, old soldier.
My voice is coming back. Thank you for whatever this is. You see, he's clearing his throat, but it is coming through a lot more clearly now. And well, this reprieve, I don't know if that will stave away death for too long, but I wish to return to Browbeat and be with my family for when my time comes. And, well, it is a bit of a journey. I would ask, you can be compensated for it, but would you and your friends be willing to help take me to Browbeat? Because of my service, transportation can be provided, but there's nothing much that can be done to help assure my safety. I would like to die not just on the road that I helped build, but actually in my family's estate. And he continues drinking and clearing his throat, and a couple times, instead of that dry, like that kind of dusty, the moth comes out cough, it is actually kind of a juicy cough. Like there's actually stuff rattling around inside and not just some dust.
Jade pulls away a bit as she ends up watching, not moths, but they're still in their larval stage falling out of his mouth.
And so yes, I can assure that you are compensated when we reach there, but I wanted to ask if you and your friends would be interested in taking me south to Browbeat.
They have an errand to finish, but I will express them to come. Yes, they will come, and we will express your need. The journey will be long, no doubt, but 60 miles. You say that you have transportation, horses, perhaps?
Yes, I can arrange a wagon and 2 mules. I would wager at least.
Then perhaps we can. Perhaps the timing. Out of character, would Jade know, like, is this trip possible to, because she is a native, to be able to make that journey and then be able to pull off the second? Would that the timing work for that?
Yes. So, well, in a way, where he wants to take you is about. Do you all see the Mesomaskin map? Did
Yep.
I successfully pull you over? So he wants to take you about here, where Green Shield is going to be on the other side of the mountain, and so if you're looking at a 2-week window, which is what, you know, when your quest giver here told you he'd come to collect the samples, it might be possible if you go to Browbeat and then turn around, and then you could skirt back around the mountains to the north and cross the river in order to get to Green Shield, or it is possible that you could travel up the mountain through a series of caves, tunnels, and steps, and even a couple water locks, to an area here. One moment, I'm going to bring this up. So in the Brow Mountains, which is this region here on the mask, which is just that, it's the brow of the mountains. There's actually a monastery that is here at the origin of the water that falls down and that travels, or that forms both the Perfume River and falls into the lake here around one of the major cities. So yeah, if you go and drop Geroff off, and then you quickly scoot around the mountains, and then you quickly do whatever's needed to be done, finding this tree and the roots and watching out for whatever this thing in the canopy is. You might be able to do it in 2 weeks. It's not a guarantee if there's a complication, however.
Yes, but it is possible. Very well. All right, then, old soldier.
Well, he said that he would be in Green Shield in 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean he won't be leaving Green Shield that same day, and we only have a small window of time to talk to him.
At this point, I'm giving you the information that you've been given,
Yeah.
and it is calculated by Jade's mind here.
So best of luck with that. Now, Jade will smile to the old soldier. Finish your drink, and I will call upon them. We shall mate. Make them all come. It is possible. Things are possible.
Yes. And you're getting this very it's still kind of rattly. I mean, he hasn't physically like bulked up or anything. Though he does, I mean, look, he has old man strength because he must have been really swole back in the day, because he still carries some of that, even though he's not in the best of health, probably due to age right now. But that's helping him cling on and continue. Thank you. I believe that my quarantine, especially with how I feel now, my quarantine will be up today, and I most likely will be able to leave in the morning, provided there's no complications.
Onward we will take to the roads. I will beseech them upon your behalf. Oh, Geroff avalanche of browbeat.
Now we're going to pop over to go back here, and we're going to drag you all down to hell with me. There we go. Now we are going to move over to Celine, who is approaching Lellywellin's Gamble, the ship upon which you first set foot onto Mezamaska.
Yes.
And mind you, by the way, everyone masks on. You are in the city.
Yep.
Well, all right,
Yep,
now, I'm sorry.
mask.
Technically, you're in the port. You can wear your mask if you wish. You don't have to in the port. But, if you want to get used to it, at least walking through the rest of the city, you would have had to wear your mask.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
will, Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Would have cleaned it up after the last time. What with the peas?
Yep. Yep, green peas everywhere.
Damn peas. But no, I will be wearing my mask.
Okay.
And I'll head over to the Lellywellin's Gamble.
All right, you're allowed up. The crew recognizes you, particularly the one officer that gave you the debriefing before deboarding. And
Yes.
oh, the captain's been looking for you. Come along, I'll take you to him. He's plotting the next course.
Good.
You walk to the rear of the ship, and you are led inside. And sure enough, it looks like good old Captain Clickery Willowwick is actually sitting up, and he's at his table. He does not have his captain's coat on, and instead he has bandages going around his torso. And you can see that on his hinged horns, he has taken off effectively the binoculars that he has. And he has kind of a one big, not a spyglass, a magnifying glass. And he has a chart laid out on a large desk in his cabin here. So he has his horns down with this magnifying glass suspended between them. And he's going over, and as he looks up at you, you just see two big yellow eyes that are magnified, staring at you through this magnifying glass. Before he takes his hinged horns and he moves them back. Celine, come in.
Yep, he will enter.
Yep.
Sit.
All right. Yep, and she'll come and sit as he so graciously allows.
He leans across the table. It's somewhat close, not invading personal space close. Thank you. I want to thank you for what you've done aboard the Lellywellyn's Gamble, and for, well, helping drive off those man of wars. I'm sorry it's taken the 3 days, or 3 days to turn the cargo around, but with all this talk of war, and people always wanting the best price, on both sides of that transaction, things are a little tough right now. That being said, I'm a fair man, and you all put in fair work. Especially Raphael. Is he here by chance?
Celine will remove her mask at this stage, and she will look him dead in the eyes. It's like, Raphael has fallen.
Oh, did he get drunk?
No, I mean fallen in the most literal sense of the word.
So he fell. He collapsed.
It's like he lies in a grave in Flowerfield.
Oh. Oh, well. He makes like he kind of sits back and he looks a little shocked. Oh, well. Did he put up a good fight? How many people did it take to bring him down?
He was taken down by a very, very nasty swarm of flower wasps. They are a creature that are native to the field.
I gotta ask, is that a deception check?
Unless you are going to be completely forthcoming, you will need a deception to withhold information with a straight face.
Well, I mean, that is exactly what happened, is he got taken down by... He basically got attacked by the entire swarm. A bunch of them latched onto him, and one of them sucked him dry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jade delivered the final blow, but...
Are you mentioning that, or are you not wanting to?
No, I won't mention that, and therefore I probably will need to make a deception check.
Go ahead and make it one at, it's just a normal deception.
Well then, aren't I just the king of checks today?
All those crits.
Mr. Plunderloot, you can hang on to your minor boon, since I didn't see that until the roll was already made, and it looks like Celine did a good job anyway. So you can hang on to your boon and shout it out for something else. Alright, so... cursed creatures in the sea, on the land, in the sky. It's bad enough we have the Empire, the Shadhar Empire, knocking on every door. In every town, in Mesotopia, let alone Mesomaska.
There was some, once we got off the boat, there was some sailors arguing with some of the longshoremen about docking prices, but I promptly told them where they could put their silly little squabbles.
Nah.
There was also a bar fight involving them. One of them got knocked out immediately.
Well, sounds like you've been through a lot, and all the more reason that I should be prompt in my payment. If you need any sort of medical fees covered or something along those lines. I have 5 gold apiece for you as a very generous payment. But I think you earned it, and you've done a lot. I'm giving you a bonus that has been accelerated up to the 5 gold pieces. You've left quite the impression on my men. You've done a lot to raise morale aboard the Lellywellyn's Gamble, and morale can do great and wonderful things aboard a ship. And
that it can.
That is why you deserve every bit of these 5 gold pieces. Now, we're going to be we're going to be setting sail in 2 days. If you wish, you could go with us. We're going to be going north to Kandor. I don't know what you'd find there if you have a job or anything, but you are welcome to come along on the ride north to Kandor if you wish to continue to help keep morale. That's the price of your passage, and you will be given your own chambers.
I do appreciate the offer, but I have things to do here still in Mesomaska. There are jobs that call to me that must be done.
All right. Well, if you change your mind, you have 2 days. Thank you very much for your service. And should I ever have the pleasure of sailing with you again, I hope it won't be after too long. You all would make fine sailors should you ever decide to retire from this crazy, dangerous adventuring life and work on the seas on the Lellywellyn's Gamble.
It's like, maybe I'll consider it after all is said and done.
He stands up. Again, you see this nice, powerful build. He takes care of himself. Like, even his tail kind of has, like, some bulging muscles. Like, I don't know if he, like, lifts with his tail or something, but it has a little bit of bulk to it. And he extends his hand out, come here, put it here. And we'll shake your hand and make sure that there's, you've received 25 gold pieces total. He has said 5 gold pieces apiece, and that's really up to you, as apparently the High Priest of Lies, to disseminate the gold as you will.
Yeah, apparently I'm the High Priestess of Lies and the Mistress of Death.
But not Vecna. But definitely not Vecna.
Yet.
Yeah.
So far as we
Yep.
know.
But no, no Vecna here. Vecna is evil. But no, I will grab the pieces and I will shake gold pieces and I will shake his hand, and I will bow. It's like may we meet again. And with that, she will give a farewell bow and leave the ship in search of her friends, as it were, to first off disseminate this gold and then get ready to move. Although the thing is, though, we kind of actually can't move at the moment because I just thought of a thing. How are we gonna move Tazray? Because he's very heavy.
You might have to invest in a cart
there.
Well, he'll be ambulatory by tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, that is true. He should be ambulatory by tomorrow, so at the very least he'll be able to walk, or if not, at least sit on a horse tomorrow.
Jay doesn't understand this term of ambula whatever. Does it involve eyelids?
It's just like, I don't care if you could walk or not, just give me your eyelids.
And by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask what Mordecai was doing. I didn't have your token out. Mordecai.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I'll follow Bright.
Okay. So, all right. So we have Mordecai and we have Bright, who are in the Port Authority. It is a very busy, bustling place, and it looks like, for every piece of cargo, it's like there's 3 pieces of paper about it. There's a lot of paper being shuffled, a lot of clerical work being done, and not in the wholly religious way. And there are people coming and going in all kinds of scribes' robes. There's paper and ink everywhere. People are waiting in queues in all manner of lines for all manner of desks and departments. And
Smells like home.
Where are you gonna go?
Okay, so before we start, did you get my portent rolls?
Yes, I did. I forgot the command to whisper back, otherwise I would have said okay. But yes, I did.
Okay, good. I guess we're looking for Boxy. So and we know he's in the care of the Port Authority, but we don't really know who. So I'm pretty much looking for some type of government bureaucrat someone along those lines who can direct us toward him.
Okay, there are plenty of government bureaucrats here. It will be no difficulty in at least like tugging on one and asking, I'm looking for this, that, or the other. Though I do need you to make a persuasion check in order to see how accurate your description is, because you've oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, so while he's busy,
we'll definitely be taking the first number on that roll.
Okay, so he's he has someone with like a stack of papers as he's coming out, and you kind of like you tug on the side of his trousers a little bit, and you say, excuse me, mister, or however you solicit him. Not now, I'm busy. Oh, well, aren't you a little dear? Yes, little girl, are you lost?
I am. I'm looking for my brother. His name is Boxy, and we got separated on a ship. It was called the Lillywellens Gambit, and now I'm all alone, except for my friend that I found, and he's helping me find him. But we know that he's alone too, and he's in the care of the Port Authority, but we don't know exactly where, and we'd really like to find him so we can be reunited. Please?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you poor sweetie dear. Yeah. Oh, yes. And he's just like, oh, what a cute little girl you are. Your big brother is he's probably being held, and he'll give you directions. Go down this hallway, and it's going to be like the third office on the left, and talk to this person, and they'll refer you back to the hallway. Come back one door, go to the right, stay on the right, and then it'll be the third door on the left from that branching hallway. Did you get all that, dearie? All right. Well, aren't you just the sweetest little thing? And he'll kind of he'll reach down and he'll try and pet your head, out of affection, and his papers kind of spill a little bit. He goes, "Whoa, whoa, oh, I better get back to work. You got to go find your big brother."
Well, thank you very much, and I'll help him scooch his papers together in a mundane way. No magic this time, because I don't want to let on.
Okay. All right. So you follow various convoluted directions. Navigating a bureaucracy is it's not necessarily difficult. It's just tedious. So this is going to take some patience on the part of Bright and Mordecai. Although you are standing in all the right lines in order to do so. Eventually, you are going to be taken to an area that is. It's kind of a jail, but it's a little nicer than a jail. It is a holding area. It's not the quarantine, and it is not a brig or a jail itself. But they are rooms that are secured. And someone from the Port Authority, after you've persuaded your way through and forward, will bring you over, and you do see that there is this portly child, although he doesn't look as portly as he did even a couple days ago. Who's just kind of curled up on the bed, and, he has his arms to his chest, and he's just kind of looking down, and, with the jangle of the keys, that doesn't even get his attention, until the door swings open, and when he sees you, Bright, or rather, I'll narrate this, Mordecai, as you look into the room, there's a portly human child, who does appear to be miserable. When the door swings open and you see that he looks over and then kind of down at Bright, because he's sitting on a bed, that his eyes just, and his mouth just turns into a whoa, and he gets up, and his arms go wide, and he starts racing over towards you, Bright.
Hugging time.
He picks you up and twirls you around twice. And what we'll do is I need at least a 5-minute break to use the restroom and get some more water and such. So at this reunion, why don't we break and we'll pick up with you two being reunited, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right,
so take 5, or I'll try not to take the full 10, at least 5, and we'll come back and we'll continue having this resolution.
Nice, Bright's getting some spotlight time. Loving this.
Well, I get spotlight. I get a lot of spotlight time, I think. I think we're sharing it pretty evenly.
Yeah, it's pretty even. It's pretty even amongst everyone at the moment. I mean, Mordecai hasn't had as much just yet, but
I just got here.
Yeah, you just got here, and you will definitely get some spotlight time.
My guess is most of the next episode will probably be about Mordecai. That would just be my expectation.
Should we like force that?